Dear friends, welcome back to the channel. Today we'll be diving into another fantastic mission on the VulnHub, which is the planet's Mercury. The link will be put in the description section below so that you can download it and play on your own. In this video, I'll be showcasing the techniques to perform SQL injection both manually and automatically. So now we can head over to Linux to begin with. First of all, we need to discover the IP address of the target machine. And the utility is netDiscover. So as you can see over here, the IP address of the target machine could be recognized as 254. So what shall we do next? We need to perform port and self-scanning with a map. To save time of this video, I've already done that before. So now we can get out its result. Let's scroll up a bit. So as you can see over here, I took the options like scene scan, the default script scan, the virtual scan, and then full range port scan. The last option for all is ON to output the result into this file. From the map scanning results, we can tell that the target has two open ports. The first one, 22, and the surface is SSH or Secure Shell Surface. And also we can get its version information, including its version number, 8.2. I don't think we can find any workable vulnerability for this particular version of OpenSSH. The second one is 8080 and the surface is HTTP. And I think from the version information, we can tell the target is running Python. Okay, so what can we do next? We need to enumerate this web application both manually and automatically. Let's open up the Firefox to perform manual enumeration first. Oh, not 8080. Press enter. Maybe I need to clear the history first. Okay. We can put the IP address of the target machine into the address bar again. Press enter. So unable to connect. So the port number, what's the port number? Oh, 880. Sorry about this. 880. So hello, this site is currently in development. Please check back later. And we also can check its source code. We didn't find anything useful. So how about the robots? Nothing at all. So next, we can try to use Nikto to perform automatic enumeration. And here, similar to a map, Nikto can also give us the version information. And this very weird, maybe this is a false result. And static. I don't think it exists. Static. So page not found. However, because I think from this error message, we can get a lot of very useful information. At the moment, the debug option is true. If you're not familiar with the Django, maybe you don't know. Actually, when the developer sets the option of debug true, and then we can get very verbose information about the back-end application. And also we know the target is running Django, one of a very famous web framework. Okay, but here we find this. So I think as you know, the Django will match our path to this. Django has one module which is called URL, right? Py. So here is trying the Django router is trying to match this address or this path to this module until it can find a matched one. But of course, this one is not existent. But this is not the key point I want to tell you. From the error message, from very verbose error message, we can know the target has this hidden directory. Maybe we can copy and paste to our notebook. Okay. So next, I think we can launch GoBuster to perform directory enumeration. I don't think GoBuster can find anything, so I'd like to interrupt it here. So now I think, so this is the reason I said over and over, if you have already followed my channel, the manual enumeration is also very useful, very important. We cannot rely on some kinds of readily available tools like GoBuster, like DEBUG. Okay, so here we can access this directory manually by the browser. Press enter. So here we got one picture. We can save this picture to our working directory, Mercury. Yeah, this one, save. And also there are two links, so load effect. So what's that? So here, fax 1 and list. So still to do, add CSS file, implement authentication, use models in Django instead of direct MySQL call. All the other stuff so much. So this is no interest of me, but implement authentication. So I think this simply means right now this application doesn't have authentication, right? And use models. So I think this point is telling us possibly this application is vulnerable to MySQL injection vulnerability. Okay, so very important. So let's go back to maybe I can check whether we can find some hidden message from this picture. We can use X2, Mercury. This utility will return metadata of this picture, but we didn't find anything useful. Stack seek, Mercury. All right. So now I think we need to turn our attention to this one, to this fax. So maybe we can, for example, maybe we can check to see whether we change the one from 1 to 2. We get different information back from the target machine. Now I'd like to launch Python to enumerate this application effectively, not manually. Requests module. So we can use for loop I in range like from 0 to 20, and the URL we can use format string. We can copy from the browser, paste over here. Here we can use curly brace. So the I, okay. And then we can send response we requests get URL, and we also can print something like try with ID I, and if response status code equals to 200, it means the request is, oh sorry about this notification, and then we can print out its source code, and also we can print some separator like we can 200. Okay, that's it. Let's scroll up. So every time we submit the request with different ID number, we got something different. And the number, the valid number or valid ID number starts from 1 all the way to 7. But we can't find anything valuable from these messages. Okay, so now we can exit from the Python. Let's go back. Just now I mentioned from the to-do, we guess the application is possibly vulnerable to MySQL injection vulnerability. So now let's test it out. For example, if we put the single quote in the end, indeed we got error. So I think this confirms our early guess. The application is vulnerable to MySQL or SQL injection vulnerability. So how to exploit this vulnerability? I'm going to take 2 approaches next. First, we can utilize the readily available to sqlmap to test out. But also I'm going to show you how to exploit it manually. You know, I think manually exploiting such vulnerability will get you better understanding of such vulnerability. Okay, so how to do? Let me copy and use sqlmap. And oh sorry, I think we need to prefix with HTTP, and I think we can start from the beginning, the batch. Okay, it's done. It's vulnerable because, you know, my machine has cache. So this time, this process is done very quickly. So now I want to get databases on the target machine. And there are 2 databases. And this one is what we want. So I can use uppercase D to specify the database name. I want to get the tables in this database. And so there are 2 tables. And now we can use uppercase T to get the columns. Columns, and the 3 columns, and I just want to retrieve the latter 2 columns. So we can use uppercase C, and let's dump it. So we can get the username and password. So I think we can copy. And paste it over here. Before we go ahead, I'd like to take the manual approach to exploit this SQL injection vulnerability. Okay, so how to do? For example, just now we have already know this parameter is vulnerable to SQL injection vulnerability. So what can we do next? Next, we need to know whether this variable, for example, the variable name may be the ID or maybe the number, which doesn't matter, is string type or number. For example, we can we can use like order. Or we can use all 1 to 1. Okay, we got something back, right? So it means that this is a number based. If we put the single quote in the end, we got something different. So up to this point, we know this this variable is number rather than string. So next we need to know how many columns. So how to do? We can use order. For example, order by 5. Press enter. And so operational error on unknown column 5. So it means that maybe less than 5. The number of columns will be less than 5. So how about 4? We got its same error. So how about 2? How about 1? So just one column. So next, so far we have really got the number of columns which we can utilize. And what can we do next? We need to utilize the ulim select. And there would be this would be a bit complicated for me. I always use I always stand on the shoulders of other guys. Okay, for example, I think that this link is great. This link contains the SQL statement for us. So next, I'm going to get the database. For example, we can use ulim select and database. I want to get current database and comment out. Okay. Press enter. So the database name is Mercury. Next, I'm going to retrieve table names in this table, in this database. So how to do? We can use this statement. We can copy and paste over here, because only one column can be used for our purpose. So the table name is Mercury. You can use it this way, no problem. But sometimes we need to try. Maybe just one of them can work. So now we can copy. I don't know whether the double hyphens can work, but don't worry. We can check. And we got 2 tables, the users and the facts. Okay, so now I want to retrieve columns. So we can copy and paste over here. So the table name is users. And we need to remove the first column. Now we can copy and replace this one. Press enter. So the 3 columns. So next, I want to dump the data from this table. So how to do? We can use this statement and paste over here. The username and password. This one just some kinds of separator, okay? And also we need to remove the first column, and the table name is users. We can copy it again and replace. Press enter, and then we can get the same result, the username and password. So now we can, because right now the web application doesn't have authentication yet, and also we didn't find any login page. So maybe this credentials can be used for connecting to the target machine with SSH. So now we can try to SSH John, and we can copy its password, but it doesn't work. Okay, you can try one by one, but to save time, I'd like to give you the correct one. And very long password. Okay, it does work. So now we can grab the user flag without any difficulty. And also above this user flag, we can notice this directory. We can go inside this directory, and there is one nodes. So here I think should be, accounts, project accounts. So beautiful. And webmaster, we do not need to care. But this one caught my attention. We can copy and decode it. Okay, so I think this should be, because as we know, the 3 normal users. So maybe the password is reused for this user. So we can switch to Linux master, and we can copy, also very long and complicated password. Okay, so now we have already made successful lateral movement. Next, we can continue our information gathering. For example, we can check to see whether this user can run sudo. It can. The root user can, preserve the current environment to run this script. So now we can check this script. At this moment, current user doesn't have permission to modify this script itself. So next we can try to have a look at the script itself. So I think this script is simply we'll get the last 10 lines from this syslog file. But this one is not in absolute path. So I think we can manipulate this script by creating our own tail command. So how to do? We can go to the temp directory. Okay, let me show you how to exploit this script to elevate privilege. We can navigate to temp directory where we have full control in this directory. And we can create our own tail command, bash tail. And we need to make it executable. And change mode, tail. And we need to define or append current temp directory to environment variable path temp. Okay, and we can do now sudo. By default, sudo will change clear the current environment variable. So to preserve the existing or current one, we can use option preserve environment and path. So next we can, maybe I need to get the user bin check syslog. Okay, press enter. But we need to get, I think I need to get the password of this user. No problem. No. Don't worry. I think we can get from history. Yeah, here. Can copy. Paste in here. Okay, as you can see, now we have already become root user. Beautiful. And then we can navigate to root directory to grab the final flag. So I think that's pretty much it. I'd like to see you next. Bye. Have a nice day, please.